Hello, and welcome back to another episode of An Hour of BS.
There we go.
And today I'm with Carson, as always, but we also have another guest with us. Would you like to introduce yourself, Mr. Guest?
Yes.
Yes. My name is Nick Green, and spelled just like the color.
Nice.
Wow.
And I noticed on one of your podcasts, you were listening off of people's names, like, yeah, Cody and all that. And then out of everyone, you said my last name only. You were like, yeah, Nick Green. And I was like, what?
Because you're the Nick.
Yeah.
I know. And
Okay.
there's a lot of Nicks in our school, admittedly. So I could see the confusion. I just thought it was pretty humorous.
That's funny. Wait, was I do that?
Yeah, you were listening to people's
wow.
names. You're
That's
like,
you.
Yeah, there was Cody, Nick Green, and I was like,
You just got name dropped.
Wow.
my
Okay.
identity.
So Nick, tell us a little about yourself. What are you doing, and how have you been? And
I have been doing pretty good. Life has been well for me. I've just been going to college, as you two have. Stark State boy. You know,
Nice.
whatever our mascot. Oh, Spartans. Yeah, Spartans. That's what we are.
For real? Is that your guys' mascot?
Yeah, Spartans.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
But don't expect any really deep pits and people falling down them.
I'm sad about that. I was hoping for pits.
Aw.
I was hoping that you'd be kicking people down pits.
Don't tempt me, Brandon. And I've just been working at a grocery store, you know, the market district.
Ooh.
Down the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll find
Nice.
me either behind a register or behind a row of carts outside.
Okay.
You know, I was in that area one time and I saw you pushing carts and I was like, Nick, look at me. I'm right here. Because I was in my car. I was
Right
like,
here.
Nick.
Yeah, just honk.
I was thinking about it, but I was like, there's a lot of other people. I don't know if Nick's gonna. I was too scared. I was too scared.
No, you must, Brandon.
Have you been there for a while?
Yeah, I've been there since mid-July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I with my engineering job that I had for a while
Yeah.
that I got, COVID hit and it kind of made everyone at PLCC lose their jobs.
Oh. Because
Yeah.
they were like just keeping the other people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the companies themselves were struggling and they really couldn't keep interns.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like,
yeah.
It was actually kind of sad because by the time I got there to like get my stuff, they had dissected my desk.
What?
Wow.
Wow, what?
I got to my desk, my nice little. I had 3 monitors and everything. It was fantastic, and it was gone.
Oh no!
They took 2 of the monitors. I couldn't even find my keyboard.
What?
And I just took my little belongings and I was like, okay.
Okay.
They just came in there. Was like, got it out everything.
No, yeah, but I did enjoy the job when I had it. It was a good experience, and
You might go back. I mean, they might have you back, right?
I don't know, maybe.
Just see what happens.
Yeah, I'm actually looking into another company right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, GPD. It's another civil engineering firm.
Oh, okay.
But I heard they were hiring, and I was like, hey, might snag me a job.
Gonna slide right in there, get a job,
Yeah.
making cash.
As soon as I do that, I buy a giant eagle.
Do you like it there?
Honestly, I am very happy when I work.
Oh, good.
I'm a very optimistic worker because one thing I didn't like about the engineering job was that I was just at my desk
Oh.
and there really wasn't anyone to talk to except for getting angry at the blueprint for not looking how you wanted it to in the program. But at Giant Eagle, there's a lot of people to talk to, and I would consider myself somewhat of a talkative person.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And very wanting to be outgoing to talk to people that are right in front of my face. So I try and make the best of what I have, and it's funny because you hear the store music, and you don't realize that that's the same music they play every day. Until you work there.
They don't switch it up?
Oh,
It's just the same thing?
I mean, they were actually for last month for Black History Month, they were doing that, and I was loving the music. It was great.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I think they're doing something for Women's History Month. I think.
Oh, is that this month?
Yeah, I think instead of just the day, they've changed it up to a month.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Nice.
Possibly, potentially, maybe this is just a Giant Eagle thing, but I don't know if it's international.
So
or
wait,
national.
really, this kind of like talking about Giant Eagle, but not really. Like, why did they change the name?
To
That-
Market District?
Yeah.
Well,
Like, why can't you just keep it Giant Eagle?
well, Market District is different from all of the Giant Eagles. It's there's a lot of like local farms.
Okay.
Like you see that we have an entire like a third of our store is dedicated to produce only,
Yeah.
and that actually is pretty cool because they have it from local farm. Okay, I feel like I'm just a promoter for Giant Eagle. I like my job. They have some nifty stuff.
Your boss heard
But-
you were going to be on the most famous talk show ever. Was like, get in there, Nick.
I mean, I don't think you guys understand how big of a raise I'm getting from it.
Getting the big cash. Big cash.
Yeah, but it's I like it. I've made some friends, some work friends there,
Nice, nice.
and I really have no problems with anyone.
Good.
Good.
I mean, except for some customers.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. There's a story that I've got with one customer. So, just one customer. I don't know who she is, and I'm pretty sure I made her never step foot in Giant Eagle again, which
Nick.
I did that store a favor. I don't want to hear it from you guys.
What a title for our next podcast.
Yeah. What happened?
It was fantastic because I set her off without saying a single word.
Wait, Wilson.
So I was doing carts. I was doing a 5 to 9 shift, and I was bringing in carts from inside. And sometimes to really like push yourself and like push all these carts all day. For me, I kind of like to get angry when I do that because it kind of, once I get off work, I'm like, I feel so relieved because I took all my anger out on those carts. But during the time, you kind of like when you are in that bad mood, like you can kind of get set off kind of easy.
Okay.
And I was somewhat in that mood. Now, I go out the exit door and I see this woman and another woman with her who, in the future, you will learn to be her mother. And they were walking, and I see this woman like with a receipt in her hand, looking at it like squatting down, and then she kneels down and puts it in this box with these Halloween carpets because that's somewhere near the time that this happened. But what really made me upset was the fact that she could have taken a single step forward and put it in the trash.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
And at the time, I thought, did she really just lay her receipt down like that? Right there beside the trash can? So, in my head, I was like, yeah, I can't let that go. So, they started walking away. I casually just walked up next to the receipt, and I call out to them. I was like, excuse me. And they both turn around, and without saying a single word, I crouched down. I, in a nice casual manner, very relaxed manner, with a stone-faced, you see no emotion on me. I kneel down, I pick the receipt up, I look at them, I take one step forward, and lightly place it in the trash can. It is a if anyone has a job like me.
What a way to set the scene, too.
If anyone has a job like me, then that's like their dream to just show up a customer like, yeah, that's what it's about, baby. And I took that opportunity, and it was a lot of fun. And she didn't like that at all, in fact. I turned around to go back inside, but then I realized I made a blunder, and that was the exit only door, so it closed behind me and I couldn't get in through that door, and I was like, oh, great. Which was probably a good thing, because if this happened in the store, it would have made a lot bigger of a scene. So I turn around. She is not happy. She's not a happy camper. Oh no, she must have been having a real bad day that day, because man, I flipped all the switches in her mind. It was bad. She comes stomping up to me. She's like, what was that? What do you mean by that? What are you saying? And
What?
yeah, she's like getting up in my face, and oh no, it was bad. And like at this point, I'm not like freaking out or anything. This entire time I just have this stone dead look in my face, as if this is all just a waste of time, because it was. And she's like yelling at my face. She's like, what do you think you're doing? What do you mean by that? And just without, as monotone as I can be, I was like, man, there was a trash can right there. And she was like, no, you do not say that. You do not do that to a customer. And she just started going off, and then eventually she was like, you little jack a
What?
Yeah, she started cussing at me. And she was like, there's that little, but I love the little bit of stutter, like right before it's like, am I gonna do it? Yes, I'm gonna do it. It was like, I need to vent. Like, oh
Wow.
So then this goes on for 10 minutes. Oh, she's like complaining. She's like, I work in New York at Macy's. I am an adult. You respect your elders. And she's going through the
New
whole.
York.
I mean, I guess she was like,
she
27.
claims to be from New York.
Yeah, like I don't know, like how many years in like Macy's in New York, and I was like, okay, cool, you're in Ohio, big deal. You're at a Giant Eagle, not throwing away receipts. What are you gonna do?
Literally.
And it was so funny because her excuse was that she thought that maybe someone left it there, and she was just putting it back where she found it. Exactly, right? Like she was just pulling stuff out of her butt.
Yeah, like what?
Someone left the receipt right next to the trash can?
Exactly. That in like a little cardboard box. Honestly, if I had to guess, it flew out of their cart and they just didn't care. Because
because no one's just going to leave a receipt there.
Usually if someone wants to keep the receipt, they put it somewhere where it's not going to fly out their cart. And that is not in a box with some welcome mats. No, but she was really upset. She was cussing at me. And she was like, what? I'm going to report you. What's your name? And I was like, Nick. And she was like, and she was like, what's your last name? And I was like, Green, just like the color. And then that set her off again. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, I was having a blast. I honestly, actually looking back at it, I'm having a blast. But during the moment, my heart was pounding. I was like, man, she's getting like up in my face, dude. Is she gonna like start swinging or something? Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But it's great though, because there's like a camera right outside the exit door. Mm-hmm. So like if she hits me, dude, it's game over for her. I'm just a dude picking up trash and you got offended.
Yeah, so she kind of knew you were going to go pick it up then? Like, was she like watching you as you're walking?
No, she did not see me.
So, okay.
So I caught
she
her
thought she got away.
I caught her by surprise and I made a fool of her.
Yeah.
And she was like,
what do you mean?
So she's cussing at me and stuff, and like, this poor mother. God bless this woman's heart. She's very sweet. She's like standing next to her daughter while she's just digging into my, I don't know, in one ear, out the other. And she's like, I'm so sorry. She's never like this. And I felt so bad for her.
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Whatever she's showing right now, you did not put in her. You did not raise her like that. This is all on her and her New York and Macy's. This is just her. This has nothing to do with you. You seem like such a kind woman. And I'm just like nodding my head up and down to her. And then like eventually the woman gets fed up enough to leave. And then like her mom's still apologizing. And this woman grabs her mom by the arm and tries to yank her away.
What?
Yeah.
This is a real story that happened at this Giant Eagle by us?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. The stuff that happened at Giant Eagle, man, it's funny. But at the and she tries yanking her mom away, like this old poor frail woman, and that actually made me upset Of course, during this whole time, I am silent. She doesn't give me the opportunity to speak whatsoever, except for my name, of course. But eventually, she does start going away, and this entire time, she is yelling to her car. She's screaming over her shoulder all the way to her car, and she doesn't shut up until I hear the door close.
Wow.
No. Oh my goodness, I forgot. Before she did that, she was like, "What? This is so... I demand an apology."
What? How? Why? Like, what?
I'm sorry for throwing away the trash that you should have.
No.
Yeah.
You know what I said to her?
What did you say?
"Ma'am, I am sorry for the misunderstanding." That's it. That's all I said. Because it was. I thought that was her receipt, and she was just littering right in front of me, which, I mean, technically, yeah, it's still littering.
Yeah.
Because, oh no, it's not my trash. I'm not going to... Shut up. I don't want to hear from that. And this was funny, because this left her speechless for a second. She just looked at me, like, with her mouth open, like, ready to just dig into me to what I'm about to say, but she can't. I just gave her an apology. Like, I just gave her exactly what she had. And she was like... and then that's when she started yelling over her shoulder and walking away and just, like, screaming, "I'm going to report you. I'm calling right now." And I carried on with my night.
Yeah. Did any customers see this happen?
No, I mean, some customers were walking past, but they were like, "That's none of my business."
Right. So I've been like, wait, let me listen.
And so I go in, I bring some carts in, I go inside, and I'm like, all right. So, and then I give my coworker, like, who's in the lobby, watching for people or just cleaning the carts. And I tell her, and she's like, "Oh my gosh." And I was like, "Yeah, right." And about 15 minutes later, or an unspecified amount of time, I don't know. But all I know is that woman was in that parking lot for a lot longer than what she should have been. She must have been dialing up every phone number she could have, because she was out in her car for a long time. A really long time.
Wow.
And I'm in, like, the middle of the parking lot with in, like, one of those little designated spots for carts, and I'm racking some carts up, and towards the entrance of the parking lot, I hear a little yoo-hoo, like from a little child, and I look, and it's her car, and what I see is her in the passenger seat with a little childish smile on her face, flicking me off as her mom drives away.
What?
That set me off. No.
What?
I was so mad, but I still needed to be in control. And so all I do is put my hand up to my ear and just kind of motion, just like, "What did you say? I couldn't hear you," as she's driving away.
Wow.
But afterwards, like, she played the elder card on me, and you're doing that? She played the respect me, and you're doing that? Flicking a dude pushing cards off while you're with a little childish smile on your face? You know what happened? I bet she made so many phone calls. She was confident. She was 100% confident that I was getting fired. And here I am. So if you ever listen to this woman, you got pranked.
That is such a story.
Yeah.
But I was fuming after that. I went inside that lobby, and dude, I don't know what happened. I became passionate, and my mind was racing. And I said, like, something to my coworker, like, "Her victory was as hollow as her heart. She is a wretch. She is terrible." And I was going like Shakespeare for no reason. It was the only way to express my pure rage and anger as of that moment. And I was pumped from, like, pushing all those carts. So, man, I'm walking in, like, a very, like, jagged way.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of like, you know, after, like, you're doing a lot of exercising and stuff, your muscles are kind of stiff and you look kind of buff, which makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Well, that mixed with rage equals I look like I'm about to punch someone. And that was the first time I got cussed out by a customer, and it was a
Wow.
lot of fun.
Nice.
Looking back at it, but dude, my heart was pounding, and I was like, "Am I in trouble?" And then
Yeah.
nothing happened. And
That's good.
And I talked with like my coordinator and stuff, and she gave me like a little 5-minute talk. She's like, "Nick, you don't have to do that. You know, you get one of us. That's why we're here, to get yelled at for you." And as I was telling them inside, they recognized her because she was yelling at her mom inside the store.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
What an abusive relationship she has with a lot of people.
Yeah.
it seems.
Dude, she's disgusting. You're
Yeah.
gonna yell at your mother in public like that?
Uh-huh.
Bro.
She's probably yelling at her mom, like, when she was in the parking lot for so long, she's probably making calls, yelling about
Yeah, imagine if that's how they act in public. How do they act when
I hope
nobody else is around?
Yeah.
this woman does not reproduce. Because whatever she spawns will be nothing but monsters.
Yeah.
She
That
just
is
has such
so
a.
bad.
It looks like. It just sounds like she. I mean, it's just such a hateful personality. Like, she was yelling at her mom for the dumbest thing. Like, her mom was counting out change. And she was like, just like, how much change was it? And she was like, and my coworker said she was yelling at her mom, just like, it's 7 cents. Like, really?
Yeah.
You can't calm down? You can't
Yeah.
let her, you really have to yell at her
Uh-huh.
to tell her? Who crapped in her cornflakes that morning?
Honestly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's terrible.
Was she like, would you say she was like in her, like, what age range would you say she was? was
late,
she like a younger?
late 40s, kind of in the,
What? That's so
yeah, really pathetic.
Wow. Yeah, pathetic.
Yelling
Yeah.
at your, like, mom?
Like, you would, like, when you're telling that story, I think that she'd probably be in, like, her, like, late 20s.
Yeah, that's
or,
what
like,
I
She
was thinking.
She
like-
was, that right there was very, what is the word? Privileged.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the type of lifestyle that's the type of person you become when your lifestyle is never being shown how to throw a receipt in the trash can.
That is crazy.
And, I mean, I guess she made it. She's in New York Macy's, like, what, manager? I don't know. She said she had, like, some years in there, and I was like, cool.
We should go visit her. That'd be kind of fun.
I don't want to see
Be
her
like, hey,
face.
remember me from Ohio?
I don't want to see her face, and I haven't, and I'm glad, because if I got rid of her from Giant Eagle forever, perfect. I have done my part as an employee of that company to keep that toxicity away from my coworkers.
I mean, not that it really matters at all, but like, was the car, was it like a New York license plate, or was like, do you think her mom was from around here?
No, her mom was driving her.
Oh, okay. I'm just, yeah, because you might see her mom again. Maybe you guys can become friends.
Yeah.
This happened.
Go over for a cup of tea.
You know, this happened so long ago. I honestly, if I saw her, I probably wouldn't recognize her, and that's for the best.
Yeah, no, that's really,
Wow.
Yeah, have either of you worked in customer service?
Yeah, I think we both.
Starbucks?
Yeah,
Yeah, you talk to customers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the
I
thing
guess
about
I
it is mine is in a hospital, so a lot of people are pretty like chill. Yeah, like
That's kind of lucky.
Yeah, so like if people don't get their way, which I've seen a lot of that, you can tell they're irritated and they'll like be vocal about it, but not to that extreme. Like, I mean, not at all. Like, obviously I've never gotten cussed out at or anything.
Yeah,
You know,
I've
that's
heard
kinda
like
crazy.
Starbucks, like people were like kind of crazy with their coffee.
From
and stuff.
yeah, from like the drive-throughs and all that, but in the hospital it's not really like that at all.
What are you
So
gonna-
that's one good thing.
What are you gonna
because-
do? Crawl out of your window? You're yelling at a speaker. Chill.
Yeah.
I haven't had my morning coffee. I think you need more than just coffee if this is how you act.
Right. What you? Because you worked at Panera.
I worked at Panera, but I wasn't really customer service.
You were
I
more
was
getting your hands burned in the bag.
I was more getting my hands burned in the back. I was like, is this sandwich done? Ooh, it's hot.
How many? How on a average? How many times did you burn your hands working?
Oh my goodness.
How many scars left?
No scars still, but I had to burn myself on average. Like once every 3 shifts, I would have burned myself
Oh,
Like bad burn, did you say?
They weren't terrible. I mean, they were like
little crispy.
yeah, like like that. Because the way they get the sandwiches off like the press there to toast them, it's awful. Oh my gosh, it's the worst.
They just take their hands.
Well, because
They just full on grab like.
when they're training you, they're like, use this little metal spatula that works half the time.
Oh.
But everybody who worked there just grabbed it with their hands out, and it's like you just reach a point where you're like, I'm not doing with this dumb spatula. I'm just gonna go in and grab it.
Yeah, I get you on that one. Didn't you used to work at Grubhub or?
I did DoorDash.
DoorDash,
That was
yes.
my
No burns there.
Yeah, I know.
But customer service, kind of. Not at all. I mean,
Was that
Well-
any bad? I mean, without making contact with your customers, how bad could it get?
Well,
Oh.
well, it actually wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad because
That-
for the
that too.
most part, you didn't come in contact with your customers. But every once in a while, you get an order that say "knock on my door" and I'll answer or something. And then when you get those orders, you're like,
Man,
"Oh crap!"
I didn't
Yeah,
sign
like-
up for this.
literally.
Yeah, I signed up to get money without talking to
Yeah,
people.
right.
Who said you had to stand by the door? Just put the food at the doorstep.
Yeah.
Take some steps back and just walk and just wait.
Mm-hmm.
Like ding dong ditching, except you don't. Minus the ditching part.
Yeah. I mean, it was good for the most part. When you did interact with people, they were just like, thanks, and all that. And walked inside, and I was like, sweet.
Yeah,
I did run into a sketchy guy once.
Nuh-uh.
The sketchy guy.
For real?
Oh, yeah. I forget where I got the food from, but it was like, I get the food, I go down where it's taking me down this place, and it's like, I'm in this sketchy place.
Okay.
Like,
yes,
this
yeah.
really sketchy place. I'm like,
You can feel it.
I
Like-
don't
Spidey
want to
senses
be
are
here.
tingling?
My spidey senses are tingling. I know danger's around. I get out, and this is like broad daylight, so I'm like, well, at least it's not like pitch dark out. Nothing bad's
Right,
gonna happen.
I can see my surroundings. We're okay.
Yeah. I get to the place. I'm like looking over it. I'm like, oh no.
Oh, man, it's going to be really bad.
So I take the food. I walk up, and as soon as I get to the door, like the door opens, and I'm like, and there's this guy standing there, and he looks like a sketchy guy.
Oh, no.
And there's kids in like his like house or whatever it is, and I'm like, oh, he has kids there. First of all, it smells like he's been smoking 5 packs a day.
Oh, no. I hate those. I feel so bad for people who live with that.
Oh yeah, and he's like cursing at his kids, and they're like 3 years old, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And when he goes to pay me, he's like pulls out a few $100 like wads of hundreds out of his back pocket, and I'm like,
wait. So he had to pay you with? I thought you pay all through the app.
he did, but he tipped me with cash.
Oh, okay.
He gave me a pretty nice tip.
What was
I
it?
didn't
You
know
don't
he
really ask
hundreds in his
game, like,
wallet.
What was the food?
like, what was the tip? I mean, like.
Oh, I think it was like $10 or something, which for
okay.
DoorDash,
Oh.
that's so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Alright,
He was like, I tried.
Cash.
Yeah, he was like, I
Okay.
tried DoorDashing this earlier and they didn't show up, and I was like, oh really? I was like, sorry to hear that, but here it is now, and he was like, yeah, thanks.
He's like, I'll let DoorDash know. I'll let my manager know.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Don't
like,
deliver to this man ever again.
I got in my car. I was like, keys, go,
You're
go.
fumbling.
I got out of
Was
there.
it like in a neighborhood or like?
It was in a neighborhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I had to go to a house one time that was like kind of in the woods.
Mhm.
It was a sketch house itself, but the people that lived in it was not
Yeah.
sketch. Like
Oh
they
yeah.
were really nice. But I was like,
His house
Like-
was sketch and he was sketch.
Oh. sketch.
Yeah, but I with Faith, I would sometimes when she was here before she went to Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
Did she go to UC?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
she's living dorm life down there.
Wow,
Ooh,
nice.
yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm actually planning to visit with her.
Nice.
Nice.
So did she just go this semester, or was she there last semester?
Oh
as
yeah,
well?
she's been there last semester.
Okay.
And this semester, and
Gotcha.
yeah, long distance. It's definitely something you gotta
Hard.
get. Yes, I'm a very cuddly, touchy-feely kind of guy.
Mhm.
And it was pretty hard for me to get used to this. I would consider myself still getting used to this,
Uh huh.
Mhm.
but it's definitely getting easier.
That's good.
Yeah.
But she would do Instacarts while she was here because she really couldn't find like a good job to maintain for like just a couple weeks. And let me tell you, UC is not cheap, so you get money when you can. And that was with Instacarts. It was like Grubhub and like DoorDash, except you went grocery shopping.
Oh, so it's like instead of bringing someone their meal, you'll bring them their whole grocery list or whatever.
Yep.
Gotcha.
I would do that with her, which almost every single time we went, it was just at an Aldi's. You know, we went shopping at Aldi's. It was actually kind of fun, and I got to learn the layout of Aldi's, and I had a fun time with her.
Yeah.
Because we got a good groove going.
Good.
She would be by the cart and be like, "Go get this," and I'd be like, "Yes, ma'am." Yes, dear.
It's a good system, though.
Is this what you wanted? I asked for the blueberries, not the grapes. Sorry.
Don't they have to scan it with their phone?
Yeah, they do. They have the scanners, and sometimes the scanners didn't work, but you could just take a picture of the product.
Okay.
And stuff like that, and there are sometimes it's very similar to a curbside that we have
that's
at
kind
the
of
grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot of fun doing that with her, and she made pretty decent money doing that.
Yeah.
Good.
And like DoorDash and whatnot. I don't know if you did any of those delivery jobs.
I did DoorDash as well for a little
He got
bit.
me into
Yeah.
DoorDash.
I got the red card or whatever, and then once I literally got all that, I got the bag and all that. I quit doing it.
That's
right
when
when
I
got
quit.
it. Right, literally when I got it, I'm like, this is so cool. We're working like this is so nice, and I literally quit. Like I was like, I don't want to do it anymore.
That's so funny. You saw the bag and your life.
I'm like, this commitment. I can't do this.
Well, also, like, did
how
you
do I know
get?
what goes in the bag?
I got
Like,
scared by the red card. I was like, I don't want to be
That
using this
too.
card.
That's
I did
it.
not like the red card.
No, and I'm like, why can't I just like
It's
have
so
the freedom?
intimidating.
Yeah.
Just Sharpie it blue or something.
It's like red.
I wish you could put in settings, no red card. I don't want to do that.
Holding
Can
it.
you?
I'm pretty sure.
Just holding it emits an ominous and it slightly vibrates uncomfortably in your hand with all of the power of DoorDash.
It did.
But yeah, it's like I don't know. It just like really kind of made me stop. And then we had talked about this before that on DoorDash, wherever you end up. So say like I deliver something in like West Akron from Green, Ohio. Like if I'm like delivering there, they instead of taking you closer to home, they take you further out from West Akron. So I feel like they should be able to have like a set place where you start, and that's where everything's at.
Oh, definitely.
And it's like, cause I'm like, it's like no, like I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to be going to like.
It takes you 20 minutes away and then takes you to a
20
restaurant that's like right there, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, now go do it 20 more minutes away.
Yeah.
It's like, no,
So it was
I don't
more of
wanna
like a
do
gas
that.
thing. It
That's
was like
kind of funny. You could have an unintentional road trip doing that.
That's true. That is.
And you
True,
could use
true.
DoorDash to fund the road trip
Oh,
across the
DoorDash
country.
doesn't make that much. You're not getting that
because
much.
They don't really give you any tips. I mean, I only really never got any tips.
Yeah,
like, it was
it's like
all just built in.
$6 is like the minimum, right?
Yeah,
That's what you get for every delivery. No one would tip.
Yeah, and then some places are like cheaper depending on like if it's not.
Oh yeah, I do like
Like-
$3 orders, and I'm like,
Yeah, it just wasn't worth it.
sucks.
Now, if I like spend a day in like Cleveland, I'd probably do it because
Oh.
even though Cleveland can be bad areas at times, if you go to Cleveland and do it, like it's like plus $10
Oh,
for what it normally would be.
Oh.
Like you look on the map and it tells you plus 10, plus 15, and I'm like, I'll take those.
Man,
Mhm.
I had a fun time in Cleveland. I
Love
did.
Cleveland.
Well, one time I tried to use the restroom at a McDonald's, but it was locked, and I got really scared because I was like halfway, because I was like on the border between the highway and just like right on the edge of town, and I'm like, this is not a fun place. And the weirdest thing, there was an apple tree, a tree with apples in the middle of the McDonald's parking lot, and I was like, what? Bro, they got apples? They got apples here?
What the?
In the middle of the parking lot. Like, it had like a little... Now, it wasn't like in the middle of the concrete. It was like a little patch specifically made for a tree. And it just decided to spring apples.
Wow.
And it was great. And I was like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. But I'm really scared because I have to use the restroom and I'm only halfway to Cincinnati.
Oh, God. So you went to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was going to visit Faith.
Gotcha.
Let's just say it's a good thing I had an empty water bottle.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
Didn't open that bathroom for you, did they?
outside door was locked. Couldn't even get in the building.
Oh.
And I tried to go into the city, but I was like, I can't.
You gotta park.
It was
Oh.
it was like
Oh.
the industrial.
It's a whole
it was like
operation to get out of your car.
No. It was like right
Yeah.
out. It was like in the industrial district, and I was like, "There's nowhere to go," and I ended up just like back in the McDonald's parking lot. I was like, "Okay, desperate times call for desperate measures." But I made it to Cincinnati safe and sound. Disposed of that water bottle as fast as I could, and everything was great. I had a fantastic weekend with my girlfriend.
Good. Was this recent?
No. Yeah, it wasn't. The last time I went to Cincinnati to see her was last semester.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I have an 02 Honda Civic with over 200,000 miles on it. With the oil drip that emptied my oil to and from Cincinnati.
Oh, wow.
So
you just can't really trust it.
and and that's why I'm planning for this one, because I just want to get that oil drip somewhat figured out. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad. I've had it since I've been given the car, and my brother, I was given it. I mean, I paid for it, but my brother gave it to me, and he's always had the oil leak. So it's not it's something I was familiar with from day one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
With this long, I don't think that car was made for long distance traveling with that. Do you mind?
Is that my phone?
Wow.
Yeah, that's my phone.
Can't believe it,
I didn't
Carson.
mean that.
That's fine, I guess.
didn't mean that.
But anyway, so you were saying that.
But with that oil drip, it's interesting because it only drips when I'm moving. I could have that car sitting for weeks and it wouldn't lose a drop.
Mm-hmm.
But if I go to Cincinnati and back, I guess it just empties itself. Which isn't very cash money of it.
Not cash money at all.
4 hours is a long time.
I mean,
that
hours
is
there
true.
and back. That's a long time.
It was.
Did you stay like a weekend? Did you stay?
Yeah, I stayed with her just over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and I loved it. It was great. I was so happy to see her, and
good.
it was a lot of fun. And I can't wait for next time.
Which will probably be soon, right?
Yeah, I am planning for the late March. I don't want to be specific because if anyone is trying to rob my house and want to know what days want to know what days I'm gone, good luck, chump.
I did kind of get rid
He's
of
going tomorrow.
No, I'm not. Don't listen. Bro, what are you doing?
No, it's a trap. You lure him in.
Yes. I'll get the sword in my brother's
Wow.
closet. Yeah, but a fun little story about the first time I got my brother's car. First time I drove it. First time it was in my possession. I was with my dad and we went to just a Valvoline and got the oil changed. And on our way out from Arlington, I was taking a left. That's the direction. For any of you listening, I had to point to know which way I was.
So whenever a guest did that, they had to tell the audience.
We're gonna get a video soon.
Yeah, we are.
Really?
Yeah.
That is
And
fantastic.
you'll be back on because we love your stories.
I've got some ideas up here.
My goodness, I am so happy. That warms my heart, you two. I'm glad that I could entertain you two for the night. And whoever these fantastic listeners are, thank you for tuning in to an hour of BS with us. As I was saying.
We didn't force him to say that, by the
No,
way.
I promote these two with all my heart.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, when am I getting that paycheck?
Wait till the episode's over.
Oh, sorry. We can cut that, right?
No, we do no cuts.
Anyway, the first time I was driving down Arlington, and I was with my dad. He was in the passenger seat. This poor man. This car was not built for... Listen, my dad is just... beefy man. He beefy man. Sorry, I voice cracked him.
I didn't hear the voice crack, but
it was a faded one, but I didn't want that to be the way I said it. But sorry, I'm getting off track. Please excuse me. And I look behind me, and my dad's just like, son. And I was like, what? Because like I'm kind of nervous because like I just got this car and I'm like, we're going to the store to get like this stuff to help keep it gas clean and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I look behind me and there's flashing lights. And I'm like,
no!
and I'm like, what? And I'm like kind of scared because like, what? This is my first time being pulled over. That's also another thing. My first time being pulled over.
Was this with your first car? So like, was it when you
Yeah,
first
with
started
my
driving?
brother, yeah, with my new car, not my brother's, my car.
Yeah, come on, Carson, get it right.
And yeah, it was the first time, and I was like, what? And my dad's like, pull over, son. And fun fact, my dad is a police officer.
Oh, okay.
And he's a storyteller like me, so...
Oh, you'll have to bring him on an episode then.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. But, and I'm like, it's Arlington, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going to pull over? And I was in like
Mhm.
the lane next to the outer right lane, so I was like just the lane beside it. And I was like, I'm panicking because I'm scared I can't get over to that lane to pull over and then I'm going to get in more trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I eventually get pulled over. You know, I'm shaky and I'm kind of like spooked. My dad, he's just like, whatever. He's sitting there. I roll my window. The officer comes by. I roll my window down. Man, my dad didn't even let the man speak. He pulls out his wallet. He's like, yeah, I'm with the police over in the city. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'll have you guys out here in a second. I was like, what?
I guess I was gonna ask about that, whatever the card they show or whatever. Because police officers, don't they get a card?
Yeah, they have a FOP. Yeah, you can get a little FOP for your family.
That's nice.
And the reason he pulled me over was because he thought I didn't have a front license plate. Now, this was before it became legal to not have to have a front license
Right.
plate.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like just right at the end. And I guess he was, as my dad explained, he was probably just, fishing.
Because they get like points and stuff. Doesn't the police officer like get like points or like you get like hit a certain number?
I believe they do have a quota, but I'm unsure of that. But from what I did a ride along with my dad, but we might have to.
Cool.
We're gonna have to save that for another episode, I'm afraid, because that's a fun and haunting memory. It's not bad. I mean,
well, that's good. That's.
I don't know. I just like being a little suspenseful.
I'm
that's all.
listening. I gotta put this in.
Can you hear me from over there?
Of course I can.
We'll have you on for a whole another episode dedicated to that.
Yeah, can we please? That'd be such a good story. Episode.
It actually is, because the only reason I went on that ride along was because my car broke down on the highway. But
Wait, what?
that
Oh, so then your dad picked you up or whatever?
yeah, but that for another time, Jen.
For another time. Sounds perfect.
So he's just like, oh yeah, sorry, I thought you didn't have a front license plate, and we were like, no, we're good, we got one. And he's like, okay, yeah, have a good day. And my dad is such a jerk. He was just making fun of me. Just like, he's sitting by the edge of the seat, and he's like, man, you're like, shaking. And I was like, Dad, it wasn't that bad. And of course, he's such a storyteller. And so he's going to make it, and I overheard him talking about it, and he was making it sound like I was being so girly. And I was like, Dad, what are you doing? No, but
That's funny.
he's definitely a funny guy, too. I mean, how else do you get this? The self-confidence just comes from myself, don't worry.
While you're telling that story, I'm trying to think of all the times I've been pulled over. And I know I've been pulled over once, but I'm trying to think.
How many times have you been pulled over?
I don't know if it was one or two times. I remember the one time my headlight was out. And I was coming home from work, but also my license plate, my tags were expired.
Ooh.
So, and okay, no, it was two times. So that was the one time, okay?
Yeah.
And I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, my license plate. I knew my tags were expired, but I was like, I'm gonna get in big trouble tonight. Like, cause my headlight was out. And he's like, and he went to, he went back and he came back. He's like, I just want to know your tags are also expired. And I'm like, oh, did not know that. And he's like, I'm like, thank you so much. He's like, okay. And he asked for, what do they say? Can I have your registration?
Registration.
And I was like, yeah, I'm so let me just look for it. Could not find that either. So I was a whole mess. I was like, I went to prison.
Yeah. And those moments are so suspenseful because like you're trying not to freak out, and you're sitting there like you have to act calm, but inside like you're like getting that like cold sweat. Your heart's pounding in your chest, and you just feel it, and you're just like, oh yes, sorry officer, and you can't even like remember what just happened because you're so in shock at. I can't.
You think you're gonna spend your whole life in prison because of this?
I just got pulled.
Like I only got 3 X's there: headlight out, expired tag, and kind of from.
That's life in prison. You're done.
Like so, he was really nice. So like towards the end, he's like, let's just get that figured out. And I'm like, I'm going tomorrow, and I actually went the next day. I was so bad. I'm like, I could really spend my whole life in prison.
No, listen.
Like
best,
like I might as well just get the tags.
Best thing you can do getting pulled over is be as respectful as possible.
Yeah.
Address him as officer. Yes,
Sir.
officer. Sir.
Yes, officer,
Yes.
Sir.
Yes, sir, officer.
Yes, officer, sir.
Police.
Sir. Yeah, sir. Officer.
My lord.
Then the other time,
Milady.
Ooh, that's good.
I actually got at a checkpoint. So I was coming home with. It was from someone's house. I was with Cody.
Heck yeah, party.
And I got coffee, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna think I'm drinking right now. Like, so I go there, and I'm like, there's no way to turn around. I'm like, do I turn around? Like, what do I do? Like, I'm gonna try to get away from the checkpoint, because even though I'm gonna get off, like, I'm so nervous.
What did you put the coffee in? What made it look so suspicious?
Well, are you like holding it in your hand and like driving with the other?
No. It was sitting in my thing, but
okay.
because he asked when I got stopped, I was trying to find a way to, before going to the actual checkpoint, like pulling around in a driveway. That was my plan. But everything was set up. Like they had all these vehicles. They had like a setup. Like there's no way getting out.
Even if there was a driveway to turn around, imagine how suspicious that would look.
But
please check.
I'd rather do that.
Turn around.
No, straight up, they would have definitely gone after you.
That's true.
You would have gotten got either way.
Yeah,
like,
there were
back up.
multiple police officers.
They'll hit the radio and be like, get them.
So I get stopped and I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, I don't have a license.
Oh.
Did not have my license.
Did Cody have his? You may try and pass off.
No, nobody
as
had
him.
their license.
Oh,
I don't
no.
think, but in that moment I'm like, okay. So I go there and they're like, hello, can I have your license? Like, and all this stuff and registration. I'm like, I actually don't have my license on me. And they're like, oh, okay, you just want to pull around in there and give your social security number. And I was like, oh, okay. So they put something in my windshield and like I had to pull in there. And then like, I'm like, okay, I'm totally drawing a blank. I don't have my social security number.
This is
like not even kidding. And I'm like, boom, boom, boom. And I said like numbers, and then like I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure it's this. And he goes, yeah, that's not it. And I'm like, so I'm calling my mom. I'm like, Mom, do you know my social security number? And I'm trying to act all innocent because they asked me. They said, have you been drinking tonight? And I was like, well, I just had coffee. And they were like, oh, okay. Like I was just
Why would you do that? That is a sobering drink, Carson. You should have said, I've only had this coffee, not even water.
It was a whole night, and I was just like freaking out. And then the whole entire time I got away, obviously, but the whole entire time I'm like, I should have just pulled around the driveway. But had I done that, it would have been way worse.
I got away.
You make it seem like you were smuggling stuff in your trunk.
Well, that's what it felt like in the moment. I'm like thinking of everything that
I was just hoping
like I'm
hear the
thinking.
knocking in the back. Yes, officer. How are you today?
That's nothing. Ignore that.
But,
Yeah. Coffee? Yeah, I know, right?
You want a sip?
Do you ever dip your donuts in it? I've heard it's pretty great.
But wow. How about you, Brandon? Have you ever been pulled over?
No, the police know to stay away from me.
They see the Brandon.
Get him.
They see the Brandon mobile coming.
They see the Brandon mobile and they're like, we don't even dare go even come close to that.
No, but
What would you do if you got pulled over?
I'd say, good evening. You know who I am.
Step.
Move along.
My apologies, Mr. Brandon. Please forgive me. Where do you need to go? I can escort you. I'm so sorry. No, I think we're done here.
I know who you are, by the way. I'll be talking to your supervisor.
Yes, sir. Please forgive me. No, but I understand how it is because sometimes you have when you're in that moment of being pulled over, you have only one thing on your mind, and it is survival. And there's one time I did get pulled over. I was allegedly pulled over for speeding.
Oh.
And on Bettler, I guess the speedometer said, not speedometer, the speed radar, laser, boobappy, it said 50. I wasn't looking at my thing. It was alleged. And he caught me like right at the hill, at the bump. So it was game over, man. I saw him passing. I was like, see the lights, and I'm like.
While you were passing, did you make eye contact with him?
No, I didn't. I didn't go Umbrella Academy on him. But I just pulled into the neighborhood, like right on Bettler, right there, because I really, when I get pulled over, I really don't like to be like very public. So I'd rather just have like one family look at me instead of like all these cars passing by. And it's great though because I just pulled in like in front of the first house, so like his cop car is blocking my car, so whoever sees, they don't know. Anyway, he comes over and he's like doing like license registration. You know why I pulled you over? And I'm scared out of my mind. And he's like, so why do you have the FOP? And I'm like, my dad, he's a police officer in the city. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know him, Mike. And I was like, yes, Officer Green. He's like, yeah, and I knew your grandpa too. And I was like, oh, I was like, no, he said something like, about like, yeah, did your grandpa work in Barberton? And I was like, yeah, I think so. And he's like, oh, what was his name? And I sat there like, I don't know my grandpa's name. I was pulling a hard blank right there. And I was like,
that happens.
Officer, I cannot remember to save my life and to prevent me from getting a ticket. I mean, I didn't say that I didn't say that. But, I was thinking, it was so funny because the only reason I was allegedly speeding was because I thought I was late to a musical theater meeting that we were going to have at Giant Eagle before I was working there and everything when we did our little like mini theaters.
Oh, right.
Actually, no. It wasn't the like Elf on the Shelf. It was like the one before that.
Oh, I remember.
Wait, what was
It
remember
haunts me.
we did mini musicals. We did 2 rounds of them during the Guys and Doll year.
Oh,
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, what was
I know why you don't want to
Wait,
talk about
wait.
it. I respect
Anyway.
that.
Wait, can I at least ask what show it was?
No.
Anyway.
Wait, what show? Oh, okay, never mind. Wait.
Stop thinking.
No, okay. Yeah.
Stop thinking. Sir, do you have your license and registration with you? I need you to pull a blank on me right now. No, but, oh gosh, back onto the story. And I sat there and I was like, I don't know my grandpa's name. And so after that, I think he saw I was about 30 seconds away from making a mess in my pants. And he was like, all right, well, just be safer. And to this day, I do not allegedly speed on Bettler. Because, man, those hills will kill you. You see a sheriff, dude, your timing is bad, it's game over. But I get back from musical theater practice, and I go inside and I ask my dad, Dad, what's Grandpa's name? And he's like, which one? And I was like, Grandpa Earl. It took me a second to realize what I had just said. And my dad, I hate him so much. He didn't say anything. He just gave me that sideways look, like kept eye contact with me and just tilted his head. And I was like, okay. I felt like such an idiot. I was like, he just asked me like, what's Grandpa? And I was like, Grandpa Earl. But it turned out he was actually a police officer in Akron, not Barberton.
Oh.
So, ooh, that was a close one.
Wow.
Mm.
Because I mean, your nerves get to you when you get pulled over. That you just like, and you really don't know what's going on. Like I remember, I was like saying stuff out of my mind when I got pulled over. I'm like, just like saying random stuff. I was like, I don't even know what to talk about. I don't even like. It was all a whole wreck. And the whole thing about it is when they do that whole like, they turn around. Oh my gosh! When there are parks somewhere, or no, when I got pulled over for my headlight. Like he passed me coming one way, and I saw him. Oh my gosh!
That's exactly what exactly what the officer did to me, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. You know where I was? So I was right by Aldi's actually.
Yeah,
you know,
Aldi's?
like right there. Yeah. So if you in the Green Library.
Yeah.
So I was at the. So I'm kind of. I see this cop. I see the headlights. I knew my headlight was out. I saw his headlights, and I'm like, oh frick.
Lord.
So I'm stopped at the red light, and that's when he did the loop, and I'm like, oh frick. So I just go straight by the roundabout to go home, you know. And I was like, okay, here's what I'm gonna do to see if he's actually trying to get me right now. I'm gonna turn right at the light and like just like go down by Dairy Queen. Sure enough, right I turn, his lights come on. I'm like, frick. And I'm like, and I knew in that moment expired tags, no registration, like all this different. So I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
None of my nerves got to me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
This is scary, but
it's a fun thing to always talk about after. You know that the one time, this is the last time I was pulled over. It was a while ago. I was having a bad day. Went to the doctor's. I couldn't like. There was this weird thing on the back of my throat. I wait there for like hours, and he just says, "Yeah, that's a cold sore. Like like canker sores. Except it's on the back of my throat.
Oh.
It's disgusting. It's terrible. I like just breathing just hurts, and it's terrible. And I got charged so much money for sitting in those chairs. The man straight up like took a look at my mouth. And he was like, "Open." Oh yeah, that's a cold sore. And he was like, "Yeah, glad to do business with you. That'll be like $100." So annoying.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's so expensive.
What was I talking about? Oh yeah, that's right. When I got pulled over for another time.
My apologies, I think.
No, that was like over.
But
I don't know what that was.
It came on my screen. Oh, it was in the things.
I hope I didn't accidentally activate your Alexa.
I don't even think that's.
The sound came from those headphones.
Oh.
Because it came through my.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this time it was a highway patrolman, so there was no way I was getting out of this.
Oh yeah.
No, I got a ticket for. Excuse me. I got a ticket for this one. Excuse me again.
Tasty.
Yeah. Nice water flavored burp. Anyway, I got a ticket because I ran a red light.
Oh.
Yeah, it was actually not a good thing, and man, the state trooper he was waiting there as I was coming towards it, and the weirdest thing is I cannot recall to save my life and to prevent me from getting this ticket. I do not remember seeing that light. Even when he told me you ran a red light, and I was like, "Are you serious?" I could not believe him. I did not. I couldn't. And I look back. It's not there. My brain is not processing a light there, and I still cannot see it. And I'm like, I can't. And that when your nerves get to you, man, I learned that it affects your sight because that red light did not exist. It was phased from my memory, from my eyes, and but there was no cars there. It was only the state trooper and I. So luckily nothing did happen. And yeah, it was a pretty dangerous moment. I will admit that. And yeah, I did deserve that ticket, which is cool because I learned that you can do everything online. I didn't have to go anywhere. I was like,
nice.
Oh no, this was a while ago. I still have that I still have the ticket. It's pretty fun.
I'm missing. What?
Are you sad that you?
It was online because of COVID. Things are online.
Oh.
But you didn't have to go to court or anything. Is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, thankfully no.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I was thinking to myself what? How did I get what red light? And I was like, man. As soon as first thing I did, text my dad. Paragraph. I'm sorry. I just got this ticket. I feel bad, and I really did because I feel like at that moment I felt like it was pretty embarrassing to for your son as a police officer to get a ticket.
Even though your dad are like, I'll handle it. I'll take it from here.
No. There's nothing. There's nothing he can do about that. It's a state trooper.
Yeah.
State troopers and police officers are nothing alike. They are on the hunt.
Oh,
State troopers.
oh my gosh, I'm so, yeah.
They really are. But,
Well,
Wow.
that's it. That's all we have time
What a
for this
good-
time.
good
It was a very good
last time I
time.
checked, we had 5, 4.
Thank you.
3.
Come back next time and an episode.
Go.
I messed up. An hour of BS.